What's up?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the year-end show for Comics Cast. It's been a great 2021, and we're going to be getting ready to usher in 2022. And but this is all about 2021. I want to welcome my co-host, co-founder, Joe Tolliver, and the latest addition to the Comics Cast family, Mr. Vic Medina. How you guys doing?
I'm great.
Good,
It's
we're doing
great.
good.
You know, it's Sunday. We haven't done too much yet. This will be a good end of year wrap up. We just did a great Friday freestyle. That was the third episode. We got Vic here. Like, it's been good, man. It's one of those things where we're starting to, you know, I'm all about launching next year. So I'm kind of like, whatever happened behind us, the good, the bad, the ugly. We made decisions. We made good decisions, bad decisions, but we're moving forward. So super excited about where we're at, where we're going.
You're right. So it was, if everybody remembers our hashtag, it was hashtag get it done in 2021. But our new mantra is hashtag more to do in 2022. And that's what this show is. We're going to talk a lot about, about a bunch of different things. But this first half hour, I first want to say, check out the new swag, the new gear. I'm wearing the Comics Cast shirt right here. I look like I'm blending into the background. You just see,
it makes it pop.
You see arms and a face, and everything else is all black on the logo. But we also got we got Joe, who's sporting the cap, and then if you look at Vic has his own jersey style right here. So Comics Cast represent. We're gonna hopefully make that available. When we do that more to do in 2022, maybe we can find a way to get some swag out to some of our audience and our fans out there. So they can help spread the word. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about, Joe has his head down because he's trying to get everybody.
I'm doing shares. Don't
he's doing some shares. So we were going to talk a little bit, like I think this first half hour, because, we kind of broke it down in terms of like what we'd like to do. And we in this first half hour, we wanted to talk about a little bit about the past. Joe mentioned it was the good, the bad, the ugly. The good, there's so much good. I want to say that every year, this is the second year that we've been doing it, or at least doing it as Comics Cast. We did more episodes of Let It Out. We did Joe returned to the scene, and he did his Inside the Artist Studio as well as The Process.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did 2 new shows
Yeah,
this
you did
year.
2, and so
grinding, yeah.
Yeah, he totally forgot that he did 2 new shows here, and he's been in the background getting stuff. And I think this would be before we talk. I guess I'm trying to like get things all straight in my head in terms of like what we talk about. So I'm going to hit a lot of different tangents. Joe hasn't been as visible this year as opposed to last year because Joe and I made conscientious decisions in terms of what we were going to do for 2021. And it wasn't like Joe was absent. He was behind the scenes getting Comics Cast to where we need to be business-wise. And when I say business-wise, we are officially incorporated. That means the IRS has our number. I think
they'll come calling every year.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because we are getting all of our ducks in a row for 2022 because we're shifting gears a little bit where we're going to be starting to promote Comics Cast as a business entity with products. And, we're still going to try and do the shows, but the shows are going to be taking a little bit of a back seat because we want to focus on this. If you didn't know already, we are going to launch a digital comic platform featuring indie creators. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next half hour. But like I said, we have a lot of different business opportunities that we're going to be pursuing. And we're going to talk a little bit about some print projects that we have, slated. And I guess as we talk about the past, there were so many great guests and so many great audience interactions that I had. And, one of those, I guess, guests and audience interactions both was Mr. Vic Medina. I met him, I don't even remember, I guess it was earlier last year. We sort of interacted with each other. You were kind of in the comments section, randomly watched some of our videos. And then I was like, hey, I saw your stuff. I'd love to get you on a show. And that was early last year. And then it was something happened where I put Vic in this folder on my computer, and I didn't see the folder for a while.
Freaking Gerald's folder of names.
Yeah, I got a folder with a folder with a folder, and it would actually worked out I think really well, because I think in that time period, Vic started like, he's we're gonna show some of his artwork, and he just kept on building and building and building his stuff. And then when I had opportunity and fate and the planets all aligned, and there was an opening, and I happened to go that folder, and Vic's name was up there, and I just went to I went back into my chat, and I said, "Hey, remember who I am?" And I talked to Vic, and I said, "Vic, we'd love to have you on the show." And I want to say, when was that? Vic, do you remember what? I think that was August 29th.
It was August.
Yeah, it was August, and you had such a great presence. We loved your artwork, and from there, hey Saeed, we decided, hey, this would be a great opportunity to like interact more with Vic, and that was one of those things where Vic went from somebody who was in our audience to somebody who became our guest, and now he's a part of our family. So I know that Joe is still like, getting all stuff over social media. So we're gonna before we talk about the past and some of the funny experiences in the past, we'll go ahead and just focus a little bit here on Vic. So since I got you up on here, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You are officially a part of the family. We let people know in Friday Freestyle that you were gonna be a part of the crew, and we're gonna do a little bit of a let it out drill. I'm gonna give the mic to you, and I'm gonna showcase some of your artwork, because if anybody missed his appearance, again, it was on August 29th. You can check it out on our YouTube or our Facebook video archive and check that out, because then you can actually see him do, work his magic and actually draw live. But for now, we're just gonna we're gonna do like the elevator pitch. I'm gonna show some of his artwork, and I'm just gonna let Vic talk about his experiences this year and how he got to, from me interacting with him at the beginning of the year to where we are today, where now he's a part of the family. So Vic, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Thank you guys. My name is Vic Medina. I am a penciler, inker, colorist. I've been drawing for 25 plus years. I know that's a pretty long time for the majority of you to have never heard of me, but in 2022, that's going to change. You're going to be seeing me everywhere, on covers, interiors, doing pinups, conventions, hopefully interviewing some of you, Friday freestyles, doing other shows. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. This past year has been one of my biggest, starting with when I came on Lead It Out. Before that, I was just posting art. I didn't really have a following, anything like that. And then once Jero contacted me, asking if I wanted to be on the show, well, first off, I thought he was making a mistake, because I didn't have a single project out. I was just posting a couple of drawings, but I said yes before he could figure out that he made a mistake, and came on this show. And I would say like a few weeks after, you guys asked me to join, and it's been amazing. I enjoy Comic Cast so much. I'm so excited for everyone to hear about what's coming out through Comics Cast. I think it's going to blow people away, bringing the indie comic community together and giving them a way to get their work out there. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for everybody to see it and hear about it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things. Let me just steal the steering wheel away from you just for 1 second, Gerald.
Go for it.
I want to make sure we're saying two things. One, we don't want to go too far without saying thank you to some of the massive loyal fans that have been drawing along with us on the Let It Outs. Maverick, you got Roy. I mean, they're in the chat right now. We've got so many friends from the community that are drastically different in their art forms, that are drastically different in their personalities. And I just love that we're able to continue to push that. I love the fact that we're showing Vic's art. At this point forward, I think we're just gonna assume who Vic is. We're gonna be pumping Vic, and I want to make sure Vic doesn't say the same pitch every single day. But the biggest thing is Vic is so much more than his magical abilities, the magician abilities that he shows on the board. He's incredibly passionate about what he does. The fact that he hasn't been discovered yet is insane to me. So you're phenomenal, man. I'm not going to talk like you're not in the room. So great job. I'm really happy that you're here. Like I said on Friday, you were just the right amount of kick in the butt. the fuel that we needed to get over the hump. Gerald was saying this year that I was sort of disappeared a little bit, and I did. The biggest thing was I wanted to transition from being a media group that did the quote unquote interview shows on Facebook and YouTube, transition into a legitimate business, because that's one step closer, a big step, to being able to publish you. We're going to be talking about what we're going to be publishing this year. People have called us a future distribution company. I love that idea. I want to make sure that we come across like a streaming company, not a distribution company. But we will be distributing a certain product that is going to be featuring you, Gerald, myself, other great artists and creators, a writer that old friend of mine that we may or may not have write some of the stories. So it's going to be great. And I don't want to overshoot where we're at, Gerald, so I don't want to go too far, but I want to make sure, hey, Vic's part of the team, he's part of the family, but at the end of the day, this is a business. And going forward, it's all about leading to the point where we're paying and getting employees, and not necessarily saying, hey, this is the dream, get on board, get on the ship, as Gerald likes to say, and help us make this new platform for everybody. The platform is going to be built. And it's just going to be something fascinating how we get there. But we have a game plan. We have a way to do it. And it's all about making sure people get paid for what they do. And not only get paid, but make themselves their own professional. That's our mantra from the beginning. Focus on the indie community and make the indie community professionals so they can do their work. So anyway, that's all. That's what I wanted to say about Vic and a little bit where we're at.
Well, I'm gonna pile on a little bit. And, I want to give a lot of praise to Vic, because I'm looking at this artwork, and this was back in August, and I'm just thinking the timing of this is just like prophetic here, because I don't know about you guys. Vic, I think, has already seen it, but I'm gonna be trying to watch the latest Spider-Man movie installment on Monday.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it too?
I saw it yesterday.
I'm the odd man out here, but I'm looking at this artwork and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know when you did this, Vic, but it was like, hey, this is like foreshadowing on the ultimate level. I don't know. When did you do this? Was this before you knew about?
This was like it's like when I first got my iPad at the beginning of last year.
I mean, it's Doc Ock fighting Spider-Man. I don't think that's really doing too much.
You got Electro. You got the Goblin bombs. I think is Sandman in here anywhere? But I see a little bit of Venom.
You see the Scorpion's tail in there.
Yeah, it's. I just thought it was kind of coincidental, going back and looking at some of your artwork. One, I'm still in awe whenever I look at it. But if you haven't noticed that I've been showing a lot of. Vic is so multi-talented. He does penciling, he does inks, he does killer colors. You can see right here. He's working on his own IP, so he's going to add the writer underneath his list of accolades. It's just amazing. He's an amazing talent, and I think that's another thing.
Okay, but that being said, the reason why we're saying all this is because Vic is part of the team, right? So Vic is going to be doing. He was already working on some projects. But what we'll be leading into in 2022 is Vic will be doing some form of art production that shows how to do what you guys are doing. So Vic's an amazing talent. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff. You can see how talented he is. At the end of the day, tuning into Comics Cast will give you an opportunity to know more about Vic and then be able to work on your own art while coloring, digital, inking, pencils, everything across the board. So Vic said, like you said, he's the magic man.
Yeah, Dr. Strange.
You make rabbits come out of the back of the vehicle.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like Vic is a part of our Comics Cast family, but he, I
forgot about this one.
Yeah, see, he's telling the future. He did a Doctor Strange one here too, and so I just wanted to say too about Vic is that even though we're so thankful he's a part of the Comics Cast family, but when I talked to him and he was a guest on Let It Out. I really wanted to promote the hell out of him. If there was anything that Comics Cast could do, just like with all of our guests, we really want to, push them in any way we can to the forefront. With our audience reach, people reached. And it was one of those things that when we talked to Vic, it's like I'm always going to do that with any of our guests. But when Vic talked to us, he also said, "Hey, what can I do to help out? And that's where we got, we have this relationship with him. But I really want to stress that, we want Vic to just like hit the stratosphere. We want him to go in that. We want him to like totally kill it and be out there. So we're always going to be constantly promoting his identity, even outside of Comics Cast, his YouTube page, his own website. And we lost Joe. I don't know where he went.
Yeah,
but apparently he went off to go promote Vic right now. He left. But I really
running down the streets.
Yeah, he's
we sent him a sandwich board to wear this
exactly.
Comics Cast on,
like,
and he's walking the streets right now.
Support Vic, and he's like spinning it out, doing his little thing. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say about you, Vic, is that you're lending your talents to Comics Cast, but we also want to make sure that we get your due. We want to be able to make sure that you make it, and I'm excited to have you on the team, but I'm also excited to find out what you're gonna do on your own coming in there. And we talked even before you became a part of Comics Cast. We talked a little bit about you wanting to write your own book, you wanting to develop your own characters. Now, I know this is kind of like in that little gray area. We didn't get a chance to talk about this before we did this show, but if there's if you want to give maybe a hint, maybe talk a little bit about maybe you don't have to tell us exactly the specific character, but maybe you can give us like the genre, or what exactly is your new IP that you're thinking about launching.
It's a book I've had in my head for a while, and genre can't really say, because when I came up with the idea, zombies were a big thing,
right,
and that's where the idea started. But over the years from when I came up with the idea, it's just grown. I mean, my book's gonna have superheroes, it's gonna have monsters, it's gonna have anything you think of. I didn't limit myself to one certain thing. I was like, if I want to draw superheroes this book, I'm gonna draw superheroes this book. If I'm gonna draw monsters this book, I'm gonna do it. It's whatever falls out of my head is going to be in the book. So one specific genre, I don't know. Okay. there's not going to be one for it.
Well,
it's going to be all over the place, and it's what I want.
Yeah, it's going to be a genre, but it's going to be called the Vic genre, because it's like it's going to be all encompassing. And I like that, because I think that's kind of the cool thing about. This is another thing about indie comics and Comics Cast, Let It Out, and that whole trifecta. How that all thing goes together is that there has never been a better time for indie creators to shine, and it's because of what Vic said. Is because you are not, as an indie creator, you're not beholden to a bureaucracy or a huge business entity or a board of directors that is telling you what's popular. It's all about what's popular in your head. It's the indie creator gets to drive the product. They get to drive the creation. And hearing Vic say that is exactly why indie creators are so hot right now. That's the reason why I love doing the show, is because you're not limited. It's limitless. You can just do whatever you want. And you're only going to be held back by your own, not wanting to like take it to that next level. And I think that's what I when I hear from you and all the other creators, is that, you're taking it to that next level. And it's so inspirational. It makes me and Joe, I think that's the reason why in 2022, we want to switch gears too. We want to be creators, too. We want to be, Joe has talked to me about all these ideas that are bouncing around in his head too. And, we spent these first 2 years just networking, building up the network, building up the relationships, and just being inspired by all the guests and all the people that we interact with, and even the people in our audience, participants, everybody that's in the comment field. It's been such a strength and a joy to meet so many people and to see what drives them. And I think Vic is that. He's the epitome of all those things. He's come from spectator to being a guest to now a part of our team, and now we're all going to create. We're going to talk about all those future creations that we're going to be planning to do in 2022.
It's true, but let's make sure we're letting people know what we're doing. So, so a couple of things. Elephant in the room. What is it? What's the thing that keeps people from creating? It's the publishers. It's the ones that the big government, the big organizations that are saying, "Hey, we want this, and that's what you're going to make." So elephant in the room is that's what we're making, right? We're making a streaming distribution service. What does that mean as far as when we say unite the community, build the community, all that sort of things? Is that there's no, you have to think this way, or you have to write these kind of stories, or you have to have this sort of mindset. There's no quotas. There's no check boxes. And the reason why there's no check boxes on any of that stuff is because at the end of the day, the indie community is already doing it. So what it is you're going to make your books. Everyone's going to make their books, and everyone's going to be welcome. And the deciding factor is, we're going to get you on the platform. People are going to read it or they're not going to read it. And that's going to determine how successful people are on the platform. That's it. Just like any other streaming service. Obviously, are we going to have standards? There's going to be certain things that you don't have on there. If it's a rated mature book that, has things that just that are just not appropriate for anyone to watch, unless, you have to sign off that you're 21 and over. You know what I mean? Yep. That's not going to be in. All right. So clearly that's not going to happen. But I just want to make sure that it's clear and understood that I think organically indie books are already all the things that the big companies are saying they're trying to do. What we need to do is just have a distribution system that allows everyone to see it. That's our whole purpose in life. So the doors are wide open for everybody. So I just want to make sure we've got 5 minutes before we bring on some of the, our comic creators. We're going to be talking about and showing off the digital comics that we've created. Gerald and I focused on that hard this year because at the end of the day, the experience is going to be as lifelike as possible, tangible pages that you have in your hand. On the app, as well as media that's featuring people, how to draw, all those sort of things. But the comics themselves had to be perfect.
Yes.
So if you wanted to read them on our app, that you could have it in your iPad, you can flip through them and it would feel organic to you. So that was one of the biggest things. Starting the company officially so that we can start getting employees and start paying people properly. Starting have I don't want to say allies, starting to build those relationships where it's actually business to business. These were all very important that we had to do this year, but also one of the biggest things we had to work on, and Gerald and I focused on this and went back and forth pretty hard on some stuff, was the digital comic. It had to have that experience. It was absolutely pivotal to everything we did. So we have quite a few IP owners that have backed us in the original push because we're going to be building a platform on our website that allows us to pitch to investors for the app. So we're working on moving to that in that direction. As everyone should know by now, we're launching the app in July. So it's a tall order. But we'll focus on that conversation right now. We won't even get into the magazine yet. We'll talk about the magazine a little bit. But, they got to have a table of contents. You're
giving away everything.
So next we're going to be talking to IP owners that are working with us for that initial push. I love the fact that they trust us, they believe in us, but we'll have more conversation there. So we'll have that conversation, and then later on the show, I will debut my most embarrassing moment on Comics Cast. I still cringe when I watch it. But yeah, I just wanted to point out those couple things. We got Vic for a little while longer. He's going to try to stick on as long as he can. Everyone's got a day job. Everyone's got something else to do. So I appreciate you coming on, Vic. Whenever you bounce, just throw those fingers up. Be like, I'm done. I'm out. And then we'll say goodbye, and you got to run out of here. I know Maverick said spoiler alert. Definitely. So definitely excited for the rest of the show. We've got an hour and a half left. And we'll start bringing some creators in. I know we got our buddy Justin in the from Podunk Comics in the green room.
He's waiting.
I know he's been waiting patiently. I gave him a message earlier, like, we're not ignoring you. David's in, good. But anyway, wanted to start that conversation, start putting it out there. That's what the rest of the show's about. But yeah, just a lot of fun. The year's been a lot of work. You start feeling like a charity after a while, but it's a lot of work. And now to switch gears, build a product, build products, and then start supporting the community in a new and exciting way that, it's just fun to wake up and be like, man, we're doing it now. So good stuff. Just want to make those 2 points.
Yeah. Okay. So before we talk about getting those creators in here. So just so you know, your most embarrassing moment in Comics Cast. You're going to share that for later on, or did you
Yep,
want
later
okay.
on. No, we're not. We won't do it now because it's almost 10:30.
So
Yeah, it is.
everyone has to stick around.
Yeah. So I think Vic's going to have to like come back on a little later on, or at least watch it on demand, because I want everybody to know if our guests can't, if you know, just like with all of our shows, these will be on YouTube, they'll be on Facebook in our video archive. So if you can't, or if you're not watching right now, you obviously can watch it later on. But I guess we're right on time. We got 1 minute.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our YouTube. We keep getting somebody and somebody keeps leaving. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's somebody just trolling us, being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna join and then leave to like mess up your algorithm." But help us out, blow those numbers up. We get a lot of new viewers. We're starting to get really stronger return viewers, which I really appreciate. But if you're not there, you know what, guys? You literally don't even have to do that. Just go to Google and put in Comics Cast.
Oh, really?
It'll just take you there. You'll find a YouTube video, go to it, click follow. It's perfect. It's that easy. Just Google Comics Cast. We're the first 25 clicks.
Yes.
Pick one.
Yeah, okay. I think that was one of those things that we always were struggling to like get, us as Comics Cast up in the Google algorithm. But Joe has been tracking that, and it sounds great that now you don't have to put. Well, we are indie Comics Cast on YouTube. But
you'll find us. It'll come up either way.
Right. All right. So it is 1:30, and we're gonna stick to our timeline here, and this is the part of the show where we talk about the future. We're gonna talk a little bit about that platform. Joe alluded to it, where we've developed these relationships with a lot of the former Let It Out guests, former ART guests, and those relationships have bared fruit. They're going to help us out in terms of getting that indie comics, digital comics experience that we're planning to launch in the summer of 2022. So in this segment, we're going to have a few of those creators. They're going to join us, and we're going to demo their creations in our new app. So let's get two of them in there. I know that Joe has another guest that I guess he'll join us a little later on. But let's get our first two guests on here. One of them has actually seen his book demoed, but we're gonna learn a little bit about their own IPs and get their reaction to seeing the app themselves. And of course, if they got time, they can talk to us a little bit about their experiences, with Comics Cast, and tell us about their future as well. So let's get them in here right now. We have Mr. Justin Acosta, and we got Mr. David Whalen.
Hey.
Hey
guys, how's it going? You guys, great to see you.
Hey.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you both. It's so good that you could join us on the year-end show for Comics Cast. And just to give you guys a little bit, our audience, a little heads up, if you haven't watched David on Let It Out or Justin on our Let It Out or ART, they're both phenomenal creators. Justin is Podunk Comics, and David Whalen, we talked about it, is Correct-Handed Comics in the house. You're gonna have to watch the show to find out what exactly Podunk means and what exactly Correct-Handed Comics.
We have them on so many shows. Literally, if you just go to our page and Google their product or their name, they will come up multiple times, guys.
They will.
They've been massive supporters, and we've been happy to have you guys on.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
All right, so I think we should we flip a coin, or the two of you guys, do you want to decide whose book we're gonna demo first? Okay, all right, David. You weren't pointing, so we're gonna show yours now.
And also let's remember, David. If you guys don't know, oh my gosh, Correct-Handed Comics has so many books. Yes. He is a beast when it comes to putting out product, and there is going to be quite a bit on the platform. So the fact that you've already committed to this is just a huge thank you to that. That's going to really help us with numbers for the initial launch. So I appreciate that, man.
No, my thank you to you for having me on so many times and being a big supporter of my work and really cheerleaders for what I'm trying to do. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Man, it's so easy.
I'm gonna buy everybody pom-poms.
Yeah, I should get some. I need to get Comics Cast pom-poms. One says Comics, one says Cast.
Nice.
And like I always say, it's so easy to be. Well, I didn't say it's so easy to be the cheerleader, but it's so easy to promote, our guests, because when you got phenomenal product, it's it sells itself. We're just we are cheerleaders. We're just gonna put it out on the platform. And we're gonna go on the I was joking with Vic. It's we'll go on the street corners with our little signs, flipper signs, and we'll just say, "Hey, support Podunk Comics, support correct-handed comics." But that being said, let's go ahead and demo one of our things now. What Joe said is exactly right with David, is that he is such a prolific creator. He was our last Let It Out of this year. We talked about The Offspring, which is in its 18th issue. I think the 17th is completed. I think 18th is in the works. I was lucky enough to do a cover for one of the collected trade paperbacks. He has a series of one-shots, and that's what we're going to show today. Yeah, we're getting a little echo there.
Just ignore me. I was loading up the video.
Okay, all right. So here we go. Let's show this. This is
I'm a little nervous. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous. Can't wait. Excited.
Yeah. So I'm gonna demo this really quickly and just talk about some of the really neat things that. Actually, let me move you up here. It's like one of those things. Oh yeah. Well, here we go. Actually, I think the other.
Actually, you know what? You're right.
The other way is better. Yeah.
Better.
We want to see this.
All right. So one of the things is, just before we do it, this is going to be seen basically from a browser, right? So it's not necessarily what you're going to see on the iPad. It's going to be slightly different. To give you an idea about what they look like, guys, as you guys watch this.
Right.
So the ideal thing is to use either an iPad or a phone. So but this will work very well. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we're going to continue to show these through our Instagram page and our YouTube shorts and things like that as we continue to build and develop the app. So this is just the first legitimate what do you say, pitch on the product. So outside of the initial IP owner. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Right. Okay, so in this demo, just like Joe said, we are looking at it through a web browser, but it will be compatible with mobile devices, iPads, tablets, and phones, etc. So what we want to do, and Joe mentioned this, is that the experience in Joe's mind is that when we were searching for the best way to present this, is to make it a virtual comic experience, not like a PDF you just like click through. We wanted to make it look like you were actually flipping the pages, and you had that interactivity that allows you to make it feel like you had the comic book. It's on the screen, of course, but it would allow you to flip through it. So that is what we aimed for, and this is what we're going to give you. So you can see here, I can actually grab a page, and I can grab it from pretty much everywhere. It's just so cool. And when you open the book, look, it even sounds like the page is turning. Now you can turn off that, because I think that if you maybe after a while you don't want to hear that page turning.
Yes.
But it's Joe told me, it's like, we want to make it so it feels like you're flipping the book. So here we go. This is one of the one shots that David built. That he drew and wrote, and we built it in our app. And there's ways you can navigate it. You can use these arrows, or you can actually flip it. Flip the page. You can go backwards, of course, and you can zoom in as well. So let me show an example. I practiced this, and I'm like, here we go.
Broke it.
There you go. Zooming in. You can zoom in. So it is a really cool interactive experience, and you can actually even navigate this. If you look here, there's actually even a thumbnail area where you can jump to certain pages. And I just wanted to flip through it because I don't want to give away the entire story, because I want people to buy the book. And ideally, this summer, you can get this book through the subscription platform that we're going to set up through Comics Cast indie comic book digital platform. So now that you've seen it,
name to be determined. I still want to call it Icon, but I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, we'll see what we're going to name it. But I wanted to let David, what is your impression of this?
That looks awesome. Yeah, the whole thing, the presentation, the flipping through, the being able to see the thumbnails and fast forward through. I'll be honest with you, I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. What we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. And it's so cool. You can see that this particular one shot is there's a color cover, but it is you get to really see David's. It is black and white in the interior, but you can see that it's just as pronounced, because we're going to show some color issues as well, but it's just as effective. You can see it in black and white. It really showcases David's inking prowess. And it is. We want to have that kind of experience that it would be in terms of just getting a straight up PDF. I think I'm not sure what the Comixology experience is or some of those other digital platforms, but we wanted to make ours a little bit different.
Well, one of the things is to add on to that a little bit, not to go on a diatribe too much. Thank you, Saeed. Is that the idea is with the app, it's going to have 50 creators, not creators necessarily, but IP owners, publishers, and then over 100 comics. So this is all going to be, you're going to have access to all of these books at this level on the, I don't know who I'm echoing off of, but you guys can hear me okay. You'll have access to all the digital comics with one streaming purchase, right? And then on top of that, we want to make sure that we're also shipping on demand. We'll be shipping to houses and things like that for a slightly more fee, just because no one in their right mind can afford to pay that out of pocket. So I'll make sure that people are getting this. So the idea is that you'll get all the digital books, but also have an opportunity to purchase right off the app to support these creators. So that's the goal right from day one. My idea from the beginning, Gerald signed off on it. I was like, look, at no point is this digital app going to be more than $5. I want to make sure that everyone has access to all these books, hundreds of books for $5 a month, period, full stop. Now, if you want physical copies, it's a whole different conversation. We'll figure that out.
Yes.
But this is about building a space that allows creators to be showcased and creators to get paid. So I want to make sure that David, Justin, and others, this is a new way that allows people to get back to work, put a book out, get it on the platform, and then go back to work and make another one. And then we stop this 9-to-5 business. We stop this infighting where we're yelling at each other, and we just unite all of our fans, get them all on one platform, and we just dominate the shit out of everything.
Oops.
That's what we're gonna do.
we're on our family friendly hour that we're working here, but
One curse word's okay.
Yeah, sometimes you have to say
I'm gonna check with the CEO. No, we're good. We're good.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to use those words to like really emphasize it, and I think that's what I'm gonna follow up on what Joe said is that it's going. Joe, when he talked to me about his idea, he really wanted to create a platform that it's kind of like a let's think of it as a passive income platform. You know, once we get that relationship, once we get that that deal with the indie creator, this just becomes an avenue to not only get their books on their platform, but we want to be reciprocal. We want that avenue that we're going to create in the platform and actually make it so that their books are there, but it actually will feed to Podunk Comics, to Correct Handed Comics. So like if we are only featuring certain books, maybe we might have Comics Cast exclusive versions of their books, but we will always promote the indie creators so that they can, any of our subscribers, they will have the opportunity to actually, visit Podunk Comics. We want to be their cheerleader again. We want to be their, we want to be on the bullhorn, letting them know that there's additional content and we want them to follow the creators that are on our platform. So that being said, we demoed this for David. Let's go ahead and show.
Well, before we switch over to Justin, I'm just going to answer a couple of questions.
Okay.
The platform doesn't exist, Saeed, yet. It's going to be launching in July. I appreciate you being interested in it. So international purchase would be available. It's a digital platform app, so I don't see why anyone would have any issue internationally. The big challenge is going to be for shipping, print on demand, things like that. We'll have to see exactly what our limitations are until we get to a stage that allows us to get content out to you physically. It may be a higher purchase point, but we'll be flexible because at the end of the day, that's the whole reason we exist. And I just want to add one more thing before we launch onto Justin's amazing comic, is that we haven't gotten paid for 2 years. Okay. We've done this without being paid. We're looking at revenue streams, but one of the biggest things that I want to reiterate that I think I've said to the IP owners, but I want to make sure it's said out loud and on record, is that our priority is not getting Comics Cast to make a crazy amount of money. I've never been, and Justin, Gerald can attest to this. Justin's probably heard me say it plenty of times. I'm not about the short money. I'm not about finding ways to cut corners and backstab people to make an extra $5 a month. This is about getting the platform to launch, because the sooner the platform launches and is successful, that makes everyone successful. So if that means Comics Cast is still driving through, making product and not looking at a dime for a while, that's my priority, is making sure that Comics Cast is successful so everyone's successful, not so that we make a bunch of money. That's not my priority. So that I just want to make sure that that's said on camera and on for the record.
Yeah, it's all about transparency, because just like with all of our products, with all of our shows, it is all about the creators. We want to get the creators out there, indie creators out there, and get them known. So let's move to our next presentation. And before we do that, let me go ahead and get to
You're gonna bring in
here.
9 Realms?
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring in 9 Realms here. So we got Mr.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm
Mike's
so
on.
sorry I'm running a smidge behind. I made lunch for me and the little guy, and then I had to clean up dishes and what have you. And I got the link and I was like, oh, I need to hurry up. So
it's all good.
Here.
It's all good. And we're going to give you a little bit of we'll give you some time to talk about it and demo your book as well. But let's move to Justin. Justin is with Podunk Comics. Been a longtime friend of Comics Cast. Been on several of our episodes with Marius. And we know a little bit of what the future is, and I'm going to let Justin talk a little bit about his book, and if you want to talk about some of your future Podunk projects, you're welcome to do that as well. Yeah, the mic is in your hands, Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Boarbane, we're going to demo chapter 1 of Boarbane. There is chapter 2 and 3 will be released on Comics Cast platform as well, but this should be chapter 1. I love it. I mean, Gerald and Joe gave me the option, even on the background where you see that deserty, war-torn background. So,
Yes.
So, just the customization's unreal. So I love it. It's just like being there reading the comic, and it's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see what the future holds for it. And I know I got a lot of people waiting to get this app. So,
Oh boy. And now we're having internet problems.
No pressure.
One of the things to know about this is that it will be, we're going to make it so there isn't this concern. So you're not connected to the internet all the time. We'll make that fixed. But yeah, oh my God. First off, one of the coolest things about doing this is just seeing what you guys have been able to publish. It's insane how amazing the indie community is right now. The level of product is unheard of. Sometimes it's incredible art, sometimes it's incredible writing, sometimes it's quantity. Freaking David has got, you want to know quantity, you want to be able to get through stories, David's got it for you. Everyone's got a level of professionalism that is unmatched in the indie community, and all we're here to do is make sure you guys get highlighted. I love what gets me up and excited about all this is that, like, we're always, we grow up, we're like, oh, I want to work for Image, or I want to work for DC. Like, squash that, I want
to work for myself.
I want Podunk to just sit there and be like, I dominate,
Right. Well, it's given me, David, and just all of us a chance to step into the ring with Marvel and DC. We are stepping into the ring with these guys now, and our books are going to be able to compete at a high level now. So I'm very limited to my area. I went to Cowtown Comic-Con last year, and I'm going to go again in January. But I felt like Podunk Comics had hit a brick wall with my customers. I was selling 1 or 2 books a week, and then when I went to Cowtown, it exploded. I sold 50 or 60 books in 2 or 3 hours. It was a new audience. It was fresh faces. And that's what makes me realize this comic app, the Comics Cast app, is going to, introduce it to the world. So now I'll have, instead of thousands of viewers, I have a potential at millions. And that's all I ask for, is just a chance. Give me the chance to get my book out there. And you guys have gone way, way beyond that, so I appreciate it very much.
Man, that's music to my ears. I love hearing that. And we have Boarbane. We did talk about how Boarbane 1, 2, and 3 chapters are going to be available. Before we get to Mike, how about we talk a little bit about 2022 for Podunk Comics? You mentioned a little bit about if you watch some of your past appearances, we know what those are. But let's take a moment for you to talk a little bit about what's in store for 2022. any new IPs, any new business ventures? I know your day job, Epic Auto, has been killing it.
Yep,
So I think you're a successful entrepreneur. So I would like you to talk a little bit about your indie creations. Like, what are you planning on doing in 2022?
Well, we've talked a little bit about Fallen Rock. So me, Marius, we have our new IP, Fallen Rock, that's going to begin production middle of January. So we're hoping to release it by April or May, and that'll put Borbane Chapter 4 on the back burner until October, November. So, and then I'm partnering up with Jeff Batista Studios, and we have our Dungeons and Dragons themed comic War Makers that we're going to get ready to, get production going on it. So if things go right for Podunk Comics, I will have 3 comic books being released in 2022. And it's phenomenal. So that's triple what, double what I've been doing. So I'm excited to see what 2022 happens.
Yeah, so that is phenomenal news. So we've talked about Correct Handed Comics, we've talked about Podunk, and now let's get to 9 Realms here. So here we go. So Mr. Mike, let's let you talk a little bit about 9 Realms, and while I do that, I'm going to demo your book, Elysian Fields.
Oh, look at that!
This is Elysian Fields. Check out that phenomenal artwork. I think this is the redo. I think you called it.
Yes, this is the remaster of our 0 issue. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, remaster definitely has a better catch to it than redo.
Oh, I think
yes.
Well, I think it was called
redo.
I didn't mean it that way.
So we had to do a do-over, guys. So 9 Realms Publishing has had a very interesting past year and a half. We started pretty hot off the gate, and with our first crowdfunding campaign of our original 0 issue. And we got a lot of great feedback on that. We did Pyramid Gambit, which was the follow-up. We got just a lot of solid critiques on things that we could fix. And probably one of the biggest ones was coloring. And so I ended up getting a dedicated colorist in Avery Ferdinand. And we went back and remastered the 0 issue as kind of his test, and he nailed it. Brought a complete whole other level of depth to the story with his new color work and everything. And we had it relettered by the new series letterist SK, who's phenomenal. Did a really great job of lettering this book. And so then obviously last year we also had the Embrace here this past year, which was a really big success for us. We did an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign and got I think it was like $15,602 or something like that. We did very well.
Yep.
It was a pretty big success. We've had some issues with the printer on that, but luckily the new printer is sending us the books here this week. They are done. We're going to get them out to people. It's well overdue, but I mean, I can only control so much. But 2022 is going to be an exciting year. We've got I've got another Elysian Fields that I have the script done for, and we're going to be doing a 9 Realms Publishing catalog campaign to try and get people that might have missed books in to get books. We have merchandise that will be available for people. Lots of really cool stuff. But the big reason behind it is we're trying to make sure that we have a solid pool of money to draw from right from the bat to get to work on Elysian Fields. And then we also I have the script for the Embrace 2 is nearing completion, and we will be doing that in 2022. And we have some pretty exciting IPs that will either be launching in 2022 or at the very least announcing and going to production in 2023. One of those is actually Pro McCoy, which is kind of a culmination of 20 years of fascination and research with the Trojan War and Bronze Age era history. It is my historiographic take on the Trojan War, and I actually I can share those characters, at least one of those characters if you guys want.
Yeah,
let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, go to the share thing. Let me go ahead and stop this real quick, and
all right,
you can We're gonna get every time we can get an inside scoop from one of our indie creators. It's always awesome. So you get to see it here first. So here we go.
David and Justin came in. They were like, "Hey, I'm just gonna show my book. I'm gonna talk a little bit." Freaking Nine Realms is like, "Yo, I'm gonna promote maybe."
Okay.
Yeah, well, and so, you know, as I said, this is our historiographic retelling of the Trojan War, and it wouldn't be much of a retelling of the Trojan War without Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
And so here you see we have Vaughn Randall and Avery Ferdinand as our art team for this book.
Vaughn is incredible.
Outstanding work together. And the first thing that you should notice is that every single piece of armor, every single weapon that Achilles has in this is period authentic. As I said, 20 years of fascination and research. This book will have probably around a 10-page annotated bibliography along with it to showcase the research that I've done on Bronze Age era fashion, arms, armaments, Hittite culture, and everything like that. Because the Trojans aren't going to be wearing the same stuff. They, you know, when you look back at it from a historiographic standpoint, they were far closer to Anatolian Hittites. So they're going to have completely different designs. Everything is going to be period authentic. The dress, the settings, everything. I've brought up the excavation sites of Troy, the Mycenaean Acropolis, all of it, artist reconstructions of those buildings, what they were like in their time. And those are all being used to bring this era that was lost to us to life in an engaging narrative that takes all of these different stories that we have that were also to an extent lost, and bring them together in one epic multi-graphic novel series.
That is totally
more to come for sure, across all the stories and new ones. Sarah asked a question about something. I'd like to make sure we kind of respond to it a little bit. We'll talk about it more later in the show. So we should do some fan art contest for these 5-star indie comics. I've been wondering about this and thinking about it quite a bit. We'll talk about it more in the next couple segments.
Yes.
Where this specifically will come into play. At one point, I wanted to finance cards where we would have just very much like what are they called? The
like magic cards,
like upper deck cards. Yep. We would have our own like indie cards.
Yes.
That might be way down the road, but I think there's a place for fan art contests and somewhere it can be published pretty soon. When we'll talk about that in the next segment for sure.
And that's the cool thing too. It's sort of like it's getting our indie creators their due, because you know, you can get Magic cards, you can get Pokemon cards, but no, you're going to get Comics Cast, Indie Comics Cast, Podunk. You're going to get Crack-Handed Comics. You're going to get Nine Realms cards, you know, with their characters. Because, you know, we don't need to go to Topps. We don't need to go to Marvel to ask for permission. No. We're going to have it done.
I'll go to Staples.
Yeah. What I was going to tell you is like,
we are in no way connected to Staples or Staples does not endorse Comics Cast anyway.
Maybe we can get
not yet.
We can make them, maybe they'll become a partner with us. Maybe we'll see what happens. But no one will ever accuse Mike of not researching. That is just incredible. I've been, you know, talking to him, and it's like with all of my, you know, talking to all the creators, you know, we have here. They're extremely passionate about what they do, and when it comes to their IPs, they put everything into it. You know, I think that is the thing, is when it's your baby, it's your own IP. You know, you're gonna really put that extra oomph into it, and that's why you see the quality. I mean, we were demoing the product, just showing, you know, like all the little bells and whistles about page turns and like sound effects, but when it comes down to it, it's what's on the page. And you see some really phenomenal storytelling. You see artwork that is off the hook. You know, it's another good thing about Comics Cast is that we are international. A lot of the talent that, you know, Podunk and Nine Realms, you know, they were talking about their you know, David's a one-man band. He does everything. So it's all he's international in his basement.
He has a lot of kids, and the kids do all the work. And
exactly.
It's literally they're sweating.
They're indentured servants until they're 18 years old.
Exactly. But I think, you know, on a serious note, we were talking about that international talent pool. is that indie comics has allowed the creators in the Philippines. They're on the other end of the planet. We get there's no geographic boundaries to creativity. And when you come up with products that we see with Borbane, what we see with Elysian Fields, and Mike's new product that's I cannot pronounce the name of that Trojan.
It's all good, man.
It's like Mike was telling me, hey, can you tell that the alphabet is unique to that time period? I go, oh yeah, I totally got that. But yeah, that's the level of authenticity and passion that all of these creators are exhibiting in their products. And we could not be more thrilled, here at Comics Cast to be their voice, getting their books on our digital platform coming summer 2022. And yeah, it's going to be a trip. It's going to be a definite, roller coaster ride. And we're just so happy that you guys have trusted us with your IPs and your books to be debuting on the platform. And we're coming up on.
We are, but let me make a couple of statements before you start pushing us to the next block.
Okay.
I want to make sure that one thing that you said about creators from all over the world. I mean, that's the great thing about the indie community is that like everyone's hungry, everyone's drawing because they love it, they're passionate about it. So you'll have creators from everywhere, and thankfully the internet's a worldwide thing. It's kind of controlled some places, but it's worldwide, so we get to connect to everybody. So everyone's hungry, everyone's getting after it, and everybody is grinding. So I think that's another reason why it's a no-brainer to get everyone to work together versus everyone just scraping for whatever Marvel, DC, and Image will leave off and scrape off the from their plate and onto the floor. There's fan bases that are across every platform, and we just need to take them from those other platforms because they're not doing them justice, or the creators justice. So that's one of the big things I wanted to say about that. I guess I hit both things at the same time. Oh, here's the other thing. For creators out there, IP owners that are looking at this demo, I want you guys to know, and you guys already know this, one of the key things about this platform that from day one had to be the case was control of the images, control of your IP. So when you guys put it on the platform, it's 100% controlled. This will not launch unless there is complete lockdown on the product. So screen captures, downloads, anything that can possibly question our ability to control the media that you guys are entrusting with us. We're not buying it from you, we're renting it. I mean, it's your IP. So we will protect it. That's our key mission set was entertainment, protection. Two key things that had to be in the app.
Yes.
So I had to make sure that got put out there.
Yeah. And so as we go into the next segment, we have two other demos, but unfortunately those creators couldn't be here. But I just wanted to thank you, the three of you, for giving up your time here. You're welcome to stick around, but I definitely wanted to give you guys your proper and say thank you. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Thank you for being on our past shows. It's been a tremendous experience over these past 2 years, and the future is bright. I look forward to promoting you guys more and developing that relationship. Comics Cast is here with you. We want to support you, and we're just honored. We're just honored. So I'm going to let you guys individually, if you want to do your final shout outs before you get out of here, but you're also welcome to stay. So let's start with Mike.
Confusing messaging.
Yeah, I don't know.
How about this? We'll be clear. Why don't you guys do your couple seconds, say your goodbyes. We'll talk about upcoming or anything that you want to talk about. This is our last show of the year.
Yes.
We'll be in the content as far as context of conversations offline whenever you guys want.
Exactly.
But this will be our last show of the year, and we'll see you guys in 2022 officially.
Right. Awesome. Okay. Mike, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm Michael Oden. I'm the creator and founder of Nine Realms Publishing and writer of books such as Elysian Fields, The Embrace, and as you have come to see, Pro McCoy. Make sure that you follow.
Real McCoy.
Make sure that you follow us on Twitter at Elysian Fields _0, or follow us, like us on Facebook at Nine Realms Publishing. We have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's you just look up Nine Realms Publishing up on Patreon, should come up. But before I do go, I do want to say that, and I think that I speak for all the creators that are here on this panel that, we wouldn't be involved with Gerald and Joe if we didn't think that what they were offering wasn't something that could revolutionize everything. And you couldn't ask for better caretakers. There's so much absolute respect from Joe and Gerald. Every single conversation that I've had with them, and I'm sure that everyone else on this panel has had with them, has been about not only helping us get to a point where we could make this our permanent thing, like our 9 to 5, but it's been about respecting our IPs. It's been about getting our IPs to a larger audience, and it's been about helping the industry as a whole and revolutionizing it. And I cannot stress enough how good of hands that this kind of opportunity is in. They genuinely care. And so whenever this thing launches, make sure that you're first in line, because you don't want to miss out.
Wow, I'm about ready to like shed a tear. That was a great thing. And we feel the same way about you, Nine Realms and Mike. Yeah, that's what Comics Cast is about, and we appreciate that. David, I don't know how you can follow up with that, but
I don't know if I can. That was like a speech that was written out and delivered perfectly. I don't know if I can.
I wrote it for him. It wasn't me.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
No, you can't. You can't tell people that. I had the script open in every. Damn it, man!
I gave it away
for 2 days.
No, yeah, I mean, everything you just said was dead on. I really appreciate, like I said, the time and the effort put into being able to get creators like us out, to be able to get eyes on our work, and there's such a vast array of different stories, of different styles, of different kind of creators, of different wants to be able to communicate, that this is a perfect opportunity for us to be able to have it all in one place, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait for it to happen. I can't wait to promote the heck out of it. I can't wait to see all the other creators that are involved in it. I can't wait to meet all the other creators and have conversations with them about their process and the way that they develop their IPs, and it's just gonna be amazing. I can't wait. It's been my pleasure to be a part of a very, very, very tiny part of Comics Cast over the last couple years, and to make the friends that I have here. And I can't wait for 2022 and everything into the future to be able to continue that idea and that partnership, and to be able to just continue to create comics. You can find all my stuff at any social media. Look up Correcthanded Comics and I'll pop up. All links to all the books that I have created on correcthandedcomics.com. And I'm working really hard. Joe and I talked about this earlier. I'm working really hard to get one more book out in 2021.
You can do it.
Man, my wrist is killing me, but I'm working really hard to do it. We'll see if we can do it. If not, it's going to be the first couple of weeks of January. So, with all the holidays and stuff coming up, family and kids that also want my time. Yeah. but I'm working really hard to get it out. I'm going to try my hardest. And then 2022 is continuing at least 5 issues, trying to get 5 issues out of The Offspring. And I have a couple other ideas. I have a novel that I have started that I want to get my second novel out before the beginning of 2023. So lots of stuff going on. I can't wait.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Thank you. I think the next villain in your book is going to be Carpal Tunnel. So, that'll be you got. I will give that to you. You can name that villain Carpal Tunnel. But,
I'm gonna write it down. Write
that down. All right. So we're coming up. Saving the best for last. Here we go. We got Justin coming up. Tell us a little bit about. Yeah. Here we go.
No, I was just. Follow up with those two guys. If Comics Cast was to end today, which I know it won't, it wouldn't matter because y'all have already done your job. The roots that y'all have, put down and the connections y'all have made for everybody are going to last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So Comics Cast has already done its job, for me going to Cowtown Comic-Con and just looking at somebody and the connection was Comics Cast and it was Steve Garcia, so, just y'all have done your job and thank you so much. Don't stop. What you're doing is so important to us. And we have your back, and as long as you have our back, it won't stop. So keep it going. Shout out to Rick, Faye, everybody that that's been part of the journey. That's kind of they've gone other paths. Thank you to those people, and don't stop. Joe, Gerald, do not stop. So that's all I want to say.
Nope.
Man, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Is that a kitchen rag? What is that? All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Those were really kind words. We won't be editing them later to be able to advertise this. So,
all right. Well,
say
you
that because
guys,
we
thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. So
Now it's Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, enjoy
Yeah,
it.
wait.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
That's very good. That's
All right.
Bye, guys. Thanks
All
a
I
lot.
will tell you
Have
is
a great
there's
rest of your day.
2 different cutscenes at the end. Stay for the last one.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got it. We'll do
All
that.
right. Thank you
Bye,
so
guys.
much.
Have a great day.
All right.
Deuces.
I really wanted to share one more thing before we move into the next segment, and I'm just going to give a
We're gonna pretend like David's not here.
yeah, not David, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
What?
Did I say David?
Well,
Sorry.
I can leave if you don't want me here, Gerald. I can leave.
Yeah, we want Mike because Mike. I've been
Yeah,
trying I've been trying to.
now
get
it's
you
my
on
turn to
Sunday.
have to take off,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right, bud. All right.
Okay.
so
Unfortunately, I'm going to be heading to work, but everybody keep watching. Exciting news coming along.
Mhm.
I can't wait for everyone to hear it and see what's coming up in 2022, and we'll be seeing everyone then. All right.
Yeah. Thanks,
Everyone have a good
Vic.
one.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. All right. Before we, I wanted to actually show the other 2 IPs that are
Yeah,
going
let's
to
do
be,
that.
before we go into the next segment. So let me go ahead and add those to the stream. Okay, so we got to see Elysian, and we got to see Borbane, and we got to see one of David's IPs, the Sock Hop Killer. But let's talk about Mr. Nick Garber's contribution. This is the Crimson Guardians, and Joe, you want to talk a little bit about this? I'm just going to flip through it. But
Well, one of the
it looks
things
great.
about Crimson Guard, I mean, he's got a Jim Lee style. He creates a lot of his own stuff. I would be doing a fan art of this. I think I was told I had to do it, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. It's fine. At our last Friday freestyle. Great book. Really looking forward to it. I think he did the first issue, and then the second and third one, maybe he had somebody else do the artwork.
Mhm.
But the books are great. The books are solid, and I really look forward to having him on the site. He's definitely been very supportive of us from the very beginning. Military background, really does a lot for people that are going through troubles and making sure that the veterans are taken care of. So that's a big part of what his publishing company is all about at Apogee Comics. So great guy. It's whenever I have a chance, and Mike's kind of one of these, is that any chance I have where I'm also working with a veteran, I think that's it's just a nice thing to be able to do, because there's so many guys that are coming out of the military with so much skill set, so many dreams. They're more than the uniform, they're more than a name tag. They have dreams and hopes just like anybody else, and there's huge talents that are coming out. So when there's an overlap there, I love it. So I just appreciate that a lot, and I think this book just really reads really, really great. If you're just coming on, this is our digital book that you're going to see on our app coming out in July. Our key.
Did we lose Joe there?
We might have. I do actually have to pull pitch, guys.
Okay.
I will let you handle it from here. This looks absolutely brilliant, and I don't think I've actually seen this book before, so I will definitely have to check this out.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna have a meeting of all the creators that have contributed. We're gonna do a little bit of a powwow a little later on, where all the creators can get together, and we're gonna discuss about that initial launch and everything that it entails. So, Mike, thanks for being a part of. I've been trying to get you on a Sunday show with us, and it took Joe to ask you. It's like,
well, my
schedule,
schedule's changed up a good deal, Gerald. We'll have to catch up here.
We will.
But
we will.
I do have to run. I will catch you guys here in a bit.
All right. Thanks, Mike. See you later.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So, and then there were 2.
Yeah. So I'm going in and out. Hopefully my internet decides it wants to be play well with others.
Mm-hmm. I hope so too. Otherwise, it's going to be me talking.
It's going to be rough. You're going to be doing it on your own.
Exactly.
But yeah, love this. Love the cover. Love the artwork inside. It's just another one of the great IPs that we're going to have on our site.
Yeah.
Like we had been talking about the whole day up till now, the first hour really was the first portion of Comics Cast. The 2.5 years that Comics Cast has been doing this was a little selfish. I mean, I'll say this out loud. It was a little selfish for 100% transparency. We always made sure we focused on the indie creators. We always focused on the indie IPs. We made it very, very, very one of our core tenets. Do not try to get clicks by going after big fish or by trying to bring in big artists. We want to make sure that we're bringing in indie creators that are grinding, are amazing talents, and that we're promoting them. That was our focus. Now, this is what I'm saying. But the whole purpose of that was to promote, but it was also to make relationships, because the only way that this will ever work is if we all work together. So I wanted to make sure all of the IP owners and all the creators that we continue to make this list of friends that we make in the community, so that we build that trust and respect both ways. Because there's no way this is going to work unless I get $1 million loan. The only way this works is when the community comes together. We put content on this platform and we say, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to draw the line in the sand. We're going to say, this is us. This is the community. The community together is going to outshine every other product that's out there, every other publishing company that is out there. I don't care if you've been around for 200, 300 years. I don't care what you've been doing. All right. The independent community is where you see the most diverse characters, the best written stories, the best artwork that you're going to be able to see. All right. And it's just going to get stronger as we allow them to work day in and day out as their primary job in life, their primary passion. Because like they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. The difference is these guys are doing this as much as they can. They're not seeing rewarded for their effort, because we're always grinding. We're always trying to find that extra dollar to be able to get back to the drawing board. And what I'm saying is this app, this platform is going to allow people to make themselves their own professionals. And I'm going to say that over and over and over again, because that's my passion. That's the whole reason I do it. I still love painting. I still love doing inking. I still love drawing. But my passion right now, and that's why you haven't seen me a lot. If you look at my social media, you're going to see a lot of artwork. My passion right now is to make sure this platform works.
Yeah,
so that everybody wins.
Exactly, and I can't follow up to that. I think that's what Joe's current passion is. But I do know in the back of his mind that he wants to be a creator too. But our priority is to get this platform built. So not only can we get exposure and eyes on the creators that are on the platform, that'll actually give us time to pursue our passions too. I think that Joe and I are just itching to collaborate and do something as well. But we're going to talk about that actually in the next segment. But before, I have one more book that I want to show.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
And I think there's a really good relationship. We weren't able to tie down this creator for today's show because he's tremendously busy. But let's just go ahead and show this. This is God
Lee Giles
by Lee Giles. Now let's talk about a little bit about Lee Giles. Now, Joe is going to be able to go into more details, but I'm going to just tell you my experience with Lee. Lee has been on Let It Out as well. Tremendously talented individual, writer, illustrator. What's cool about him is he's also a publisher, and he publishes other creators. And the relationship that we have with him is, I think this is one of I joke around with Joe when we were talking about Comics Cast. His initial thing was to dominate. We gotta go out there and find other groups and other Facebook
swallow
groups.
them up like Galactus is what I said. Yeah,
he wanted to be like Galactus. and Lee had a really great Facebook group, and
he still does.
Yeah, well, he is, because we've the Facebook group was supposed to be merged with the art show and Comics Cast. Yeah, it was supposed to be.
But Facebook doesn't play well with others.
Yeah, I think Zuckerberg has figured out a way to keep us from totally coming together. But that aside, Lee as an individual, just a great guy, family man. He definitely brings a level to his game in terms of what he brings his A game. And like I said, his mantra is pretty much the reason why we wanted to work with Lee is because he feels the same way. As a publisher, he sees talent and he wants to get their physical books actually printed. And he's a tremendous talent. So let me I'll let Joe talk about a little bit more about Lee, and I'm just going to show his book.
I just want to show the book. You can see. Let's see. What's the? Okay. I want to say. Let's see here. What's his group called? I feel terrible that I don't remember what his book. I'm also a admin on it, but anyway, I will put it in the comments. I feel terrible. Lee's awesome. He's from day one. This was from 2.5 years ago. We were hey, I love your your group, your Facebook group. It's great. He had like, a couple thousand, 2.5, whatever it was. It was good numbers. And we were like, hey, maybe we'll merge. And he's like, yeah, I totally, you might as well merge it because I'm too busy to run it. And I was like, yeah, totally, I got it. And then, we sort of issues merging it. But at the end of the day, his books are great. He has the same passion for the community that we did early on, still does. But he's a publisher. He's busy. He's doing his thing. And this is just another example of where you're going to see just great work. It's going to be a high quality content on the app, and it's not going to be these flip through PDFs. I think we had Sarah, I think, made a comment earlier about what you get on Comixology. You get these flip images where you're going from page to page and you're seeing this artwork. How creators get reimbursed from Comixology. The bottom line is DC and Marvel has put out these digital book platforms, but they put it in a way that you had to purchase each book. All right. And that, to me, the quality was great, but the execution was flawed. We need more readers. We need access to more readers. That's the biggest problem. We need access to more readers. Comixology has millions of readers on it. I know for a fact that there are people hungry for books out there, but let's get books out there at a higher quality, right? At a higher quality reading ability, so you feel more tangible. So combining that Comixology platform, your Facebook streaming service content, streaming experience, plus with that DC and Marvel digital comic experience where you're flipping the page, you're feeling the page a little bit more, and you're using it on your iPad, your phone, or your computer. Using on all your platforms or all of your what are they called, physical platforms. That was the priority for me, and I love what you did with these books. I went through 3 different options. You worked on this option and you perfected it. Absolutely great. I love it. It's going to be perfect for the app. I think Godsend is going to be great for the app. I think everything we got from Correct Hand, you got Elysian Fields, Crimson, everybody. It's all going to be great. And we've got a few more IP owners that are on deck. Yep. But the idea, the plan is, as we build more trust and develop those relationships, that we'll launch with at least no less than 50 IP owners and more than 100 comics. So you're going to have access to 100 comics for $5 a month. That is no longer a dream. That's a reality that we're building. This all started with an idea years ago, and now it's coming together in a way that I couldn't have dreamed that it worked. I mean, you just don't know what you don't know. I made mistakes here and there as I grew the company. Gerald has held me up when I was like, man, I think I'm going to lie down now and not get back up again. So the passion is there. And the thing that I love about all this, and I love about people that have supported us and trusted us, is that it's no longer a dream anymore. You know what I mean? It's no longer a dream. Now we're in goal setting, and we're even beyond goal setting. Now here's the date. Let's get it done. And that's incredible to me that now we're at that point. It's no longer a dream. It's no longer a goal. Now we have something that we got to get done. Yes. And we're there. We're there. We have a plan, and now we have a responsibility to the community to get it done.
Exactly. I think that's a perfect way to end that segment of the show, which is talking about the digital comics platform. It's definitely going to be much bigger than that because we have some ideas aside from showcasing the indie creator books. Joe and I have talked about it. We want to actually have a kids book section that's going to be added to it, an article, an article section, possibly a review section. I mean, there's so many things that we're going to do, but our main priority is first to create the platform for the indie creators. And once we get that on there, then we can pursue some of those other bells and whistles that we want to work into the platform.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 3 things right now that we know has to be in the platform. There's going to be 1, the digital comics, right? 2, there'll be features on creators, video features that you would see on our YouTube channel. But as we get higher and higher and we have more funds to be able to create more professional content, you're going to see really high-end features and potentially shows. That's where I want to go with it. I'd love to have a show. In my mind, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, a show where creators from all over the world are going through episodes and they're getting challenged, and by the end of it, they get a artist deal or they get a writer's deal or they get whatever it is. So that's going to come. Man, that's happening. I mean, I'll, write a check, put it in the bank. So that's one of the things I'm really passionate about, making sure that happens. But the 3 things that we know has to be on the show or on the app, it's going to be the digital comics, the features, the video features that you're seeing now, the interview shows, all that's going to be on the app. And also the last thing is going to be how to draw content.
Yes.
Working with new writers, new creators, and developing them. So all that's going to be in one place on that app. So that's the core tenets that we definitely know needs to be on there. And then we'll add.
We'll grow it.
Saeed asked a question earlier about translation comics. We're going to have a couple that are in Spanish and English.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as in the long term, yes, we want things to be translated. We'll have to figure that out. But there's just certain things we can't do at this stage, and we'll build to that for sure.
Yeah, the future is bright, and we have. I'm going to tell you in terms of, like Joe was saying, I was helping hold him up in terms of when things kind of when motivation might have been down. But I have to say it's being partnered with Joe. He's actually been a great motivator, and he's actually the idea guy. I would not have done Let It Out if heck, I wouldn't be here right now if Joe didn't approach me. And then when he told me, hey, let's do, you should do Let It Out. And I'm like, and of course it wasn't even known as Let It Out at that time, but he's like, go do a show. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do a show. I hate video. I hate pictures of myself. I can't live draw, all that stuff. And then Joe, you've been a constant encourager. And, like I said, in terms of or like you said about that whole ship metaphor, I'm just happy to be on the ship with you. And Comics Cast is, we're definitely sailing right along, and 2022 is going to be a big deal. It's going to have a lot of cool things that are going to be there. And now as we move into this next segment, we're going to talk about, we hinted about it. We already talked.
Are you going to talk about the M?
The M?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, let's talk a little bit. We can do the M, or do you want to do the Golden Fight thing first? Which one do you want to do first? I think we can do Golden Fight, actually.
Okay, we'll go to Golden Fight, but before we do that, I want to do the worst of segment. We'll end it because we're talking about us right now, and then we'll transition out. All right?
Okay, you do it.
So I don't want to do anything on Gerald because I'm going to let Gerald just sort of if he wanted to make fun of himself, that's fine, but I won't do it. I'm going to show myself my worst experience I've had on Comics Cast, and the funny thing is, the funny thing about this is one of our biggest shows, right? So we did a thing with some amazing guys from Bat in the Sun. Bat in the Sun's a huge product. They've been killing it, and I've been lucky enough to be acquaintances and, in my part, friends with some of these guys. So I brought certain Batman actor onto the show, and it's been huge. It's one of the biggest things. I think we have 100,000 hours of watch time with these products. So it was really great. But the problem is that I built this video. My intro was so bad. And it was so bad. I'm telling you, it was bad. I read off a script, everything. I had never done this before. But I had. I've been doing it for years. But yeah, I had some technical issues before the show. So my camera wasn't set right. It was a lot of bad things. I had no mic. Well, I did have a mic. I had a snowball mic. So the mic wasn't quite right. No lighting on me. It was awful. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys the video.
Blast from the past.
There you go. Look at it. This was 360 some odd days ago that this was made. All right, we're going to add this to the stream. All right, let's see how this goes. I don't know.
Young guy? Who is that young guy?
Oh, look at this young cat. All right, we'll put us down here. Let's see if I can get this thing to work.
Okay. Don't kill your computer.
I know. We were having issues a minute ago. All right. And you could see all the artwork in the back, trying to figure out how we're going to do that. All right. Let's see how this plays. I've never actually done this before. This is the first try.
Let's go for it.
Welcome. This is Comics Cast, and you are watching the Artist Roundtable. This channel is here to promote indie creators from one side of the world to the other. We believe that there are millions of creators that are just waiting to be seen and their stories heard. And this is why I believe this platform is so important to push for you to subscribe and find out these guys and these girls across the world, and to make sure that you subscribe to this channel on Comics Cast on both Facebook as well as YouTube, So just make sure you guys are pushing that subscribe button, get involved, and then let's start the show.
Welcome to the show. This is Comics Cast.
Not to mention, I mean, the intro was too slow. We had this random thing going on, and then we just like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I'm just like, man, I want to talk to everybody. I'm so excited, and I think I just fanboyed the entire time.
Maybe you haven't seen before, so maybe.
Anyway, you weren't in this show, but you were part of Comics Cast at this point. I think you were already doing Let It Out.
Yes. In fact, I wanted to be on this show, but
and I told, what I say? No, you're not allowed to be on the show.
You're not worthy, man. No, you didn't say it. You didn't say that. I was a spectator. We just didn't want to have so many Comics Cast people on there. We wanted it to be about the guests, and it was a good. I was so hyped for this because this was actually the very first episode where we had our show where we had a crew. We had a bunch of people,
for sure,
and it felt like this was like, it was more than just a bunch of couple people in the basement throwing stuff together. It was like it felt like we got that in the sun. And I mean, if anybody has seen any of those fan films, which are like production, movie production level, it's not, to call it a fan film is actually an understatement. It's not.
It's damn right disrespectful. But it's crazy. It's crazy that we had him on.
Yes.
But this was when we had that conversation. We're like, look, what do we want to be? Do we want to bring in big names so that we can bring eyes to the indie creators, or do we want to avoid that so that we don't go astray? That was one of the big things that we talked about early on. And yes, this is where Sean gets his moves, Roy. That's for damn sure.
That is so true. But this was like a learning experience. We got to it was our baptism of fire. We got to see like all the gremlins come out of the woodworks when it came to technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't know you had a script because I always thought Joe always told me it's like, got to shoot from the hip. That's one thing that I learned from Joe is that he's been my mentor. For Let It Out. And when he said, part of doing shows is kind of like not having to have a script sometimes. Sometimes when you screw it up, or if it's like a little bit of a unpolished piece of coal, it can turn into a diamond. You can kind of like you get the sincerity, you get the genuineness when it's sometimes a little bit raw. And it was a learning experience. I was out there, I was watching it while this whole thing was happening, and Joe beats himself up about it, but I actually still think this is a good show. He told me it was going to be his most embarrassing moment.
It's garbage, man. Garbage.
I don't think so.
Anyway, I do want to say thanks to James Dean and Connor for being on. Those guys were great. Kayla, if you're not following her, she's on Instagram. You can follow her pretty easily. She's got the Kayla Swift. She will be working with us at some point this year for some advertisements. So I really appreciate that she's been such a good fan. James Dean's still good with just, you know what? Sometimes you make different decisions and you go in different directions. James Dean's still been really fantastic. He's the one that created this Comics Cast logo. So always been appreciative that he went that route and then allowed us to keep using it. So did appreciate that. There'll be more to follow on advertisement and logos in the future, but as of right now, this is our logo, and I do appreciate that he allowed us to use it for the amount of time that we did. And we haven't had Connor in a while. Like, I really need to reach out to Connor.
I know Connor's
work has always been great.
I'm gonna reach out to him.
But Kevin's been great. He's always been a fan. He really enjoyed this experience. And just to do a little quick shout out, if you do watch our YouTube channel, there's a video where it's just about him talking about his Batman experience and how he creates characters that fans love. So just want to do that. I loved that this was a good segment. This was a good show that we did, but ultimately like the quality of my camera, the quality of my intro was just, oh my gosh, it's painful. So I'm going to shut this down. That was my one sort of thing that I look back and go, wow, what was I doing? But it was fun. It was a fun show. It was worth doing. And like
I said, I don't think Joe doesn't give himself enough credit. I I look back at that show, and I look back at that show for sentimental reasons, but it is not nearly as bad as Joe says it is. For me, I'm gonna have to say, if you want to find my most embarrassing moment, pretty much just go to any Let It Out episode. You'll find gems of me sticking my foot in my mouth, me stumbling on my words, me trying to salvage a really bad drawing that I put on there at the table. I want to say that Joe pushed me to drawing live was something that I would never have thought I would have done, but it has made me think differently. It's made me I think it's made me a better artist, and it makes me appreciate the guests that we have on the show even more, because it's never been about my artwork. It's always been about their artwork, but it has made me think differently in terms of when I approach things. So I thank Joe for putting me in that position to actually engage those creators. But like I said, my embarrassing moments are, you pretty much tune into any episode and you'll find something to laugh about. And that's the thing, is that I'm known for being the scribbler, the messy, wonky style artist, but I'm also you won't find an episode where I'm not kind of giggling or laughing or something like that. It's because I am genuinely having a great time whenever I'm on a show, whenever I'm there with Joe, whether I'm there with guests. It's always been such a phenomenal experience. So you'll never see me without a smile or laughing or having a good time with the guests, because that's what Comics Cast is about. So love it. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the next 2 years. So looking forward to more embarrassing moments on my end. All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about, in this last 30 minutes, I guess. We were supposed for the last hour, but now we're at 2:35.
Yeah, we'll do last 30 minutes. This would be great.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I think because now we're going to talk about the future. We're going to drop some hints about what we're going to do in 2022. Now, one thing that if you've watched any of the Let It Out episodes, you know that I always close the show talking about Golden Fight. And if you haven't watched it, watch any of the episodes, and it's just go to goldenfight.org. They're an organization that Joe introduced me to, and he's friends with the leadership there. They go back, further than me. Joe introduced me to them. And, for the time that I've been always ending the show, it's become a tradition. We've been always trying to figure out the best way where we can partner with them to show, aside from just talking about their organization and what a great organization they are, we just haven't been able to do something where we can help raise money for their organization. So before we go into that, I want to tell you what Golden Fight is. Golden Fight is a organization that helps families who are going to experience financial difficulties because they have children that are going through difficult illnesses like cancer. And it's a tragic disease. And when you have parents that are focusing on the healing of their child, they're gonna experience financial difficulties, and that's where they come in. And I used to think it was 98 or 97% of the money they raised would go towards those families, and that 2 or 3% would cover administrative things. No, go to their website. It's 100%. They do this volunteer. It's any money that they raise goes straight to the families. That's huge. They have tremendous hearts, and those families are so appreciative. And Comics Cast, we wanted to do an auction. We wanted to do some sort of fundraiser, and logistically those just became really challenging, especially because of COVID. We weren't able to they have a big event in September, but we can never, it was an in-person event, we could never coordinate things, and then COVID just complicated everything. But I want to give props where props are due. Vic, we talked about in the first half hour, Vic became the newest member to our family, and
came up with a pretty dang good idea.
He came up with an awesome idea, and we're going to talk about that idea right now. It's still in the works. In fact, I still need to reach out to some creators about it. But that particular piece, in fact, we need to talk to Golden Fight about it specifically. But it's such a great idea. So what we're planning on doing is doing a fundraising book. And that book is going to be something that can be appreciated by kids as well as adults. And that thing is a hot trend that's been going on for the last, I want to say 5 or 6 years, are adult coloring books, right? And they have such a duality to it because, adults, it's they're connecting with their inner child, right? But we talk about Golden Fight too, and how it has a family dynamic. The families are going through this challenge, and it's their child. So we wanted to, Vic saw this and said, hey, let's do a coloring book that can be appealing to both children and adults. And the adult aspect about this is like, hey, how can we tie this into creators, the creators that we have here on Comics Cast and Comics Cast Let It Out and the art show and the process and all those things. Well, I want to put the call out to any of our former guests who've been on our shows. We were going to get in contact with you, and if you'd like to contribute, we're going to do a Golden Fight coloring book, adult coloring activity book, and it's going to feature indie creators. It's going to feature their IPs, their OCs. Of course, it'll be in a very family-friendly environment. It'll be line art, so we can promote them, but we can all raise money for a worthy cause. And I think that Vic just hit that ball out of it was a home run. It was a great idea.
And then let me add one thing. First off, Roy says, Sarah said, dope idea. Roy said, count me in.
Oh, thanks, Roy.
So great, Roy. Thank you so much, man. Your line work is going to be killer on there. And then I just want to say, if it hasn't been said before, then it has to be said. You're doing and have been doing it. Fantastic job. Seriously, the greatest respect, man.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to make sure is said here about this coloring book, and there was no argument in the Comics Cast front on this point, is that there is no expense going to Comics Cast at all.
Yes.
The only expense that will be done is potentially shipping, and that's about it. Yes. I will find a way to print the dang things. I will find everything. And then all of the IP owners, all the publishing companies that want to promote their books in there, just consider it put it in as a tax write-off, whatever you want to do. This is definitely something that is for a straight up charity. It's not, no one's making any money on this. All the money is going to go to Golden Fight.
100% of the proceeds will go to Golden Fight. And I think it's a great idea. Now, our goal, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is the call to arms to any creator that's watching the show. I will actually be talking to a lot of creators probably over the Christmas break, going into the new year. Joe will be too.
We'll call you on Christmas. We're like, hey.
You want to give a good Christmas gift to Golden Fight? Well, this is your day. Yeah, we're gonna talk to them and see if they'll be willing to donate, their time, their line art. Our goal is to maybe have Roy. Let's use Roy for example. Roy would be able to hopefully. Ophir, we're probably gonna have to figure out. Your book is a little bit not on the family friendly side, but maybe we can figure out a way.
Holding the cake or something.
Yeah, we'll have to remove the head hunting part of it, but we'll figure out a way to do it. But we would use his IP, his OC, and maybe have one of the female characters in there. Maybe that she could be interacting with somebody that's a child, and maybe that could be something where we could do a really cool thing where we want to keep it a little bit of street level. We have some heroic comic characters that we can put in there, and then we can showcase their OC, their IP, interacting with maybe a child or maybe in a caring kind of scene. And then it's an activity book too, so maybe we can also have it so hey, if we can reinforce the character from that OC, we do a little activity where it's maybe learn how to draw that character, and
costume changes a little bit. What are all the changes?
Right. Or maze,
all that. If you have kids, you've had a coloring book, right? This is going to be that basic coloring book. It just doesn't have IPs in it from you guys, so
it'll be fun.
But again, this is going to be something for the kids to be able to have. This will be something to help raise money for Golden Fight. We've been spending the last year and a half now advertising for Golden Fight, and not advertising in a way that's we want their money or they pay us or anything like that. It's just we both believe in what Golden Fight is doing, and a little bit that we can do to promote who they are. And if a single penny went to them, then I would say it was a success. So if you guys haven't gone to Golden Fight yet, just Google Golden Fight. It'll come right up. They're good people doing good work, and all that we can do as Comics Cast is raise money and raise awareness. So we've raised awareness. Now we want to raise a little bit of money to help them out. So that's what this is about. And this will be a project in January that I would love to see finished by January 30th. So we're going to have a lot of conversations in the future. Let's go in through the new year, kind of get the last year behind us, regroup, put our big boy pants on and move out, and let's make sure this happens in January 2021 or 2022.
Yes.
January. So we'll make that happen. This is a priority for Comics Cast, and we'll do everything we can to make this as easy as possible for everybody. And we'll start hitting you guys up after the show and going into the new year and everything. But enjoy your holidays. Don't feel like you have to rush to completion on this. It's a January project. Let's get it done in January. Love you guys. Thank you guys in advance for anyone who's interested in doing this. All right. So
the goal is, or the theme, and we'll talk about this with the individual creators if they want to contribute, is we want to do it in January, that target window, and it's to do just really simplified line art because we're going to be for a coloring book. But the theme is, and I think it'd be really cool, is to have it ready for Valentine's Day. And if all of us can remember when we were kids, getting those little cards, Valentine's Day cards with things that you can color and things like that with a lollipop or something. I think that this would be a really cool thing to give to kids, just to have that so they can have something to color as a little activity book, and it's a way that we can give back to Golden Fight and also promote our guests as well. So 100% of the proceeds will go to Golden Fight. That's the bottom line. Joe's put the line in the sand, and I couldn't agree with him more. It's like anything that we do, we're going to volunteer for it and then try and do some fundraising for that. So that's one of our big print projects for 2022. And I think this is the thing that Joe's been like biting his lip, biting his tongue, trying to.
Oh my God! Not successfully. Not successfully.
So we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to shut up right now because this is Joe's brainchild.
This is my baby.
I'm going to let him talk about this next big project because it's the summation of all of our goals, all of our mission statements. It's going to be it's the evolution step. So it's all you. Go ahead and talk about it.
So the bottom line is we're working towards the app, right? We've talked about the app all night. We're not going to talk about the app too much. And that's what we're going to be switching gears from. We're going to be making the app, focusing on that. One of the other things that we're going to be switching gears from with the media content is that we're going to be now looking at ways, because 2022, we're moving from brand building and having conversations and building that respect and all that. Man, you don't need to put me on big screen, man. Let me not do that. That's crazy talk. All right. Anyway, I don't want to do that. Anyway, so we're going from brand building to production, right? So that's what we're doing, production. Right. So the big thing that we're doing now, and we really want to be able to launch the first one in February, is a magazine. We're going to be having a magazine called The Community, up for debate. We haven't hit, any goals yet on sorry, I got some on my nose. So it's The Community. That's what we're going to call it. Or we may change it. But anyway, we know what we're doing. We're taking a lot of the content that we're already doing this on video, and we're transitioning it to print. We're going to be making a magazine that we're going to be able to distribute. That'll be our first product. It's going to be our test run, if you will, right? And the idea is that we're going to be able to feature artists in it. We're going to be able to do potentially fan art of indie books. Yeah. So maybe a fan art page. Best 3 fan arts are published in the magazine. We're going to have covers that are going to be sick and amazing. And we're also going to have running comics that are in the magazine. So every single time you pick up a magazine, you're going to have another page or two of comics that go from the last one. So we're going to have 2 or 3 published books that are going to be running all the way through these magazines. So not only going to be featuring people, not only are we going to be doing how to draw comics, how to draw better. There's going to be tricks and things like that. So we are going to model and put together a piece of product that helps the artist community, that engages the people that are really excited about, there's a digital version of this. Okay. Now, this is the thing. Everything that we are going to be doing for the app is digital based, right? We start digital. This is going to be our physical book. This is going to be our physical book that allows you to have in your hand. You can read our magazine. Now, in the long run, are we going to switch to a digital? Potentially, right? But our priority right now is going to be physical books. Because when Gerald goes to a Comic-Con, when Vic goes to a Comic-Con, when anyone goes to a Comic-Con or meets somebody in the street, I want them to have a book in their hand. I want them to say, this is Comics Cast, it's their magazine, The Community. Promotes the community. I want that physical copy. So I want it to be at Walmart next to People magazine. It's going to be great.
Man, look at this comment from Marius. Okay, this reminds me of sections of SciComm magazine back here in the Philippines, where we'd be able to read comics if it had artist interviews and fan art and the like. Honestly, one of the greatest incentives to have had me start drawing, and I think the community can do that for the next generation of future artists. Yes, you're
brother.
right.
Oh yeah. So man, I'm excited about it. I was holding back to tell it to Gerald because Gerald's like, we don't have time. I'm like, we'll have time if I kick you off your show. And Gerald's like, okay, we have time.
Well, I want to say that, I do want to keep Let It Out going in some capacity. It may not be every week. Maybe every other week. We have Vic that's part of the show now. Part of the crew now. So we may introduce a new show featuring Vic. Or Vic is actually I have some guests already booked, at least for the first couple of months of 2022. So Vic will probably be my co-host for those. He's talked about some of the plans that he'd like to do with Comics Cast. So we're definitely going to be hitting all the highs, talking about all those things and promoting those things as we go. Joe wants me to kind of step back a little bit from it, but it's just stepping back so that we can prioritize our goals for the summer of 2022. And that's not to say Let It Out is going to go away. In fact, once we get the platform, in the point where we can turn it over to the developers and get past the initial phase.
It's just that initial launch. That's for sure. That initial getting it into another company's hands is the priority. So you may see a little bit of a difference. There may be more post-production work. That's where Vic is going to come in and really plug the holes media-wise. I mean, if you look at what we're doing on YouTube alone, I don't even look at the Facebook numbers at this point because I love Facebook, but I don't want to be so focused on views on Facebook. And I'm echoing again. I don't know what's going on. I'm better now. If we look at what we've been producing lately with the 3 shows that we were doing for a while, we had Let It Out, and we'll definitely bring back a few here and there of the process show.
Yes.
And then we have Friday Freestyle. We were looking at just YouTube alone. We were over 100 hours of view time.
Yeah.
Of our product. So I'm very happy with that. So I don't want to. We're getting in a lot of momentum here. That's very good. But also I want to make sure that the priority, again, isn't that fast money. We're not trying to get a YouTube, marketer that wants to give us a little bit of money to promote somebody's deodorant or whatever. Like, that's not the focus of this. The focus is to get the word out.
Yes.
But if that means we have to pull back a little bit to move forward 10 spaces, then that's what we'll have to do. So that being said, Gerald definitely has more Let It Out episodes coming. We'll always be having the Friday Freestyle because I think that's important.
That's the new one.
That allows us to have promoters come on there. They could talk whatever they want. Friday Freestyle is just an open forum for any creator, IP owner, whatever. You don't have to be an artist or a writer just to get on there and talk. If you're just a fan of indie books or comics, just jump in and talk.
Exactly.
This is an open studio, so it allows us to not work so much on planning and really focus on
connecting,
on the connecting element. Yeah. So Friday Freestyle is not going to go away. We have quite a bit of Let It Out shows that are still planned. Vic is going to be a huge asset in a lot of this post-production for some of his how to draw content that he's going to be putting out. And we are honored. Literally, I'm
stoked.
Just stoked, so stoked to be able to promote him, his YouTube channel, and at the same time give you guys content that says, you know what? This is stuff that helps you. We are making product that not only says we want to entertain you, but we want to help you as well, make you a better artist. So however we can work with Vic to be able to get him on this platform and then also promote him. That's the number one goal. But anyway, back to the magazine. Now, that being said, no doubt, like, I want this book to be like, hey, artists see it. You go, wow, I want to draw like that. Or, wow, those characters are cool. And then I want it to be so easy that you can go, okay, I'm going to go buy that book. I'm going to go get that book. And also, check this out. Then you see a feature piece or you see whatever, and then you go, oh, if I use a QR code, I can watch a full interview with him. All of that ties together in our total media package. So it's all going to be synchronized. And God, I just love the idea that the magazine will allow us to publish artists and published writers to get them on a monthly page that gets it out there. You guys will be able to read it as we keep going through. Absolutely love the idea. I'll just say it right now. This will be the first published story that I'll get from Gerald. It will be bottom line. I think this will be your first officially published. I don't know. Can you publish yourself? Does that count?
Well, we'll worry about the.
Anyway, I don't care. Don't try to stop me from saying this. The one of the stories that will be in the book is Stormcrow. Stormcrow has been a book that I've been wanting to write for a long time. Gerald will do the pencils, inks. We'll see where he's at with it. We'll tweak and where we got to go. Stormcrow is going to be one of them, and then we'll have another one where Vic will work on his page as well, and it's just going to be amazing. I cannot wait. And then we'll have guest artists that will come in.
Yes,
it's just going to be great. I feel like I forgot certain portions of the book.
I got notes.
I'm sure you got notes, but I really want to make sure that people understand this is a magazine that is going to be true to our hearts, true to something that we would want to pick up and read, but also goes to the tenets and the core of what Comics Cast is. And hell yeah, man, I'm just really excited about this whole new year. 2022 is going to be the product building year. We are in building product mode, and one of them is going to be Golden Fight. Then we'll have the magazine and the app, getting the app out, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. But the biggest thing is this magazine for us, because that's going to give us a taste of who are our customers right now. We can do a test run to see where you guys are at with the viability of certain concepts. We'll get feedback from you. We'll make the product better. We'll build it, and then give you guys stuff that you want. Because at the end of the day, we have to build the app. We have to make it large enough so that we can bring everyone together and really reshape this thing and get it done.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, but I do have some notes here. So
go ahead.
We can talk a little bit about a little bit more of the specific features of this particular magazine, because you got the overall view, the big idea, because that's what Joe's about. He's the big idea guy. And we talked a little bit about what you could see in this particular issue. And this is also going to be a call to arms in terms of like some of the content that we can get from some creators. It's not just about like, what Vic, myself, what Joe wants to put into it, because it's going to be it's called the community. So we're going to definitely promote that. So the best way to do it is, if you're like old school like me, you remember back in the day there was this magazine called Wizard. And we're not going to be it's not going to be a super big magazine like Wizard, but Wizard had some really cool things in it. And there's another magazine. It's very pricey, but it's so chock full of great stuff. It's called Imagine FX. So those are the two goals. We wanted to have like Imagine FX, Wizard magazine, merge those together and come up with a Comics Cast community magazine. Now I don't know if that's the official name of it, but that's kind of like the working title. So what we would like to do, Joe alluded to this. 2 pages would be like that serialized indie comic thing that Joe, myself, and Vic are kind of working at, and it's going to be our opportunity to be creators on a smaller scale.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that. That'll be a section of the book. Another section of the book is going to be the featured artist or creator. So think of it as like we have the Let It Out, we have the process, we have the indie, inside the indie art community. We're translating that to a print medium where we're going to feature an indie creator, and that indie creator could also, maybe we can like not only talk about their IPs or their OCs, but maybe we can show their studio. So it's kind of like a mix of Let It Out with a little bit of the process. Maybe we can get our creators to show a picture of their studio, and we can do little call outs about all the little things that are all the little creative knickknacks and fidgets and tools and marker collections that populate our featured creators, artist space. So that's what we'd like to do with that. Another thing is that how-to section that Joe talked about. Now, the how-to section, we're going to use I'm going to use another example of a great friend of Comics Cast, Ed Foychuk. He's known on How to Draw Comics, the Facebook group, as well as I think it's howtodrawcomics.net. He has put together a tremendous amount of content on how to draw certain things. So we'd like to have a section on there, which if you remember back in the Wizard magazine, there was like a thing by like Bart Sears or Terry Dodson. We're going to have like maybe Ed there showing some of his.
Now, just to be fair, I haven't spoken to Ed about this yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, anyway.
So that'll be a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
But
right.
it's
an example.
The idea is it's an example.
It's an example.
I would love to work for Ed. It would be a dream come true.
Yes.
Haven't pitched it to him yet.
Oh well.
But it'll be in that vein. It'll be in that vein. It'll be an artist that will have regular instructions, basic breakdowns, things like that.
Right.
And the idea is to then, if they're already financed through Udemy or whatever, it would go back to their page. It would go back to them so that you can get initial content, and then you'd be able to go to their page. To get more. Right. He said, but I did not tell Gerald I hadn't talked to him yet. I didn't even pitch that I had talked to him yet. So anyway, thanks, Gerald. Now he's gonna be like, "What? You said that on a live show?" I'm like,
okay, let me go backwards. That's an example. That's an example.
That's what we meant the whole time.
That's an example
of who we might talk to.
Yes, exactly. It could be another person that could possibly do some instruction. Anyway, the whole point of the matter is that whether it's that featured artist or that featured instructor, the whole thing is to circle, to have them on the magazine. Joe talked about having a QR code because we'd like this to be a printed piece, eventually maybe a digital piece, but there'd be a way that it would go back to the creator or the instructor's own page. So it's like you get a taste of it, but you can go back and actually buy the full instruction set or support the indie creator. We're just highlighting them. So that'd be another section. And then I think the last section, that this is another way that we give back to the community, the indie community, is to have what we call, loosely, it's like an advertisement page. And basically for that month, we, like, for example, if you have an indie creator who is going to be featured in there and they are forecasting having a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or maybe they're like David Whalen and just going to launch it on their own personal page, their personal site, we would be able to advertise for them, and we could showcase. We could have a whole list of Indiegogo or Kickstarter or crowdfunding URLs that are relevant for that that time period, as well as give.
Let me clarify a little bit, because Gerald's going on a laundry list here that isn't quite accurate. Okay, so
this is what you told me. All right, okay, no. I'm shutting up.
Here's the deal. If you're gonna be featured on it, we're definitely gonna have information about a campaign. If you're featured in there, you'll advertise it in there. It'll be part of your feature. We'll talk about your story that's going on, whatever. That's too easy. That'll happen. But if we're going to make sure that we have one or two advertisement pages that allows for creators, IP owners, publishers to say, look, I want to be able to push my stuff out. Or if you're just an artist, you want to pay for a page that's in the magazine, that gives you an opportunity to be able to purchase that advertisement space. So that allows us to be able to offset costs of printing and things like that in the long run, and it helps us launch. So we are producing product, but at the end of the day, we're still a business, and we're not going to be successful if we don't look at it as such when we're building this content.
I think that there's my embarrassing moment there, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think it's kind of funny. Joe and I have been talking. We've been like going back and forth, and I think some of these ideas hadn't been fully.
Not just us. Vic has been deeply involved. With
yes.
Hugely involved. Just to make sure that this is a team effort. He's been hugely involved with this conversation.
I was talking about the magazine. Apparently, there was a little bit of a, pie in the sky ideas, and I guess I misunderstood. I was like, oh, we got them on board, but those are it's all work in progress. But basically, we wanted to basically share the big idea, and the big idea is the magazine. And there are several aspects to it, and we want everybody to get excited to it. And just like Joe said, the goal is to be printed, because this is going to be the Comics Cast calling card. When we go to cons, if there's any appearances, heck, if we visit like our local comic shops, we want there to be a memento, something we can leave behind that would allow us to have some sort of presence, a physical presence that's left. Because we're hoping 2022, the pandemic thing is going to just go away, and we're going to be able to do our normal social interactions again. And that physical magazine is going to be a tool
of that.
It's going to be something that we can help push the Comics Cast message, forward, and get eyes on Comics Cast, as well as all the creators and guests and everything that's in there, out there. But I think this is You know,
I mean, we're now at 12:03. I think we hit the magazine up. We'll have more to come after that. This is our last show of the year. But at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? We're just talking about all the things that we're hitting up next year. Yeah, and like Mary said, it's surreal. I think we've been doing this, and I'm echoing through you again. I think, Gerald. So just be careful with whatever's going on there.
Okay.
But every year now we've hit a couple of the drama that's come up here and there. So we've had the drama last year, the year before. Like, the great thing about building a business and building trust in the community and developing relationships is that not every relationship is going to be perfect. Not every friendship is going to be perfect. Not everyone's going to agree with what the best way is forward. I'm thankful that we haven't burned any bridges, made any enemies. I think for the most part, it's just disagreements, and they're like, hey, I'm going to go this way, you're going to go that way, too easy. So I'm very happy for all the help that we've ever gotten. I love that, people got shout outs during the show that have been a part of Comics Cast in the past. And I'm happy that we're ending this year looking forward and not looking back and going, man, like, was that the right decision? Or, man, did I leave that con the right way? Or should I have made a decision with another company? We've had a couple of different situations like that. We're like, hey, are we going to merge with this company? Are we going to be working with this company? Now it's like, hey, what are we doing next year? The decision now is launching everything, physically launching it, both the magazine and both the app. So last year was get it done in 2021. I think we've done enough where we can say, you know what, that was the right hashtag. I love the idea of development in 2022 and getting it out there. We're building the product. We are a legitimate business. We are building the product. The platform is going to be a physical thing and no longer a dream. And it's going to be a ride. And I hope everybody gets on board. I hope all the water that rises up all ships. And at some point in the next 2 years, this is the dream now. This is the goal, right? In 3 years, I want our little indie community app to be so successful that I have Disney, Marvel, and DC asking for us to either sell it to them or to be on the platform. And I'm going to tell you right now, my answer, and this is for the record, you guys can put it down, you can record it, you can download it off of YouTube, whatever you want. My answer will always be no. I don't care how much money we make. I don't care how much money they put on the table, because what is happening right now is a revolution of the indie community, and we are going to swallow everything up because the community is that powerful. The only thing that stops us is ourselves, our own imagination, and our ability to work together, and that's what Comics Cast is going to do. We are going to build this app, and it is going to change and revolutionize the way we make money and how we can be creative for the rest of our lives. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, and that's why we're going to do it. That being said, I'm out.
Well, I'm trying to click on here so I can get this correct here. So, and man, how come it won't let me? I want to put us to the side. Can you get that to work correctly? Let me add that to the stream. There, no, there it is.
Oh my! Stop pushing buttons.
All right, there we go. All right, okay. So this is a perfect way to end the show. I wanted to get these hashtags out because, like Joe said, I really wanted to push the get it done in 2021, and we did. If you read the description I had for the show, we had a lot of goals, and there were a lot of milestones that were met. We talked about where we are, where we came from in the past, where we are now, and where we're going in 2022. And that's why we have more to do in 2022. It's going to be a big year. It's a big year for Comics Cast, the crew, Joe, Vic, myself. It's going to be big for all of our creators that we've featured in the past. We want to maintain those relationships and promote them on the platform. And I feel it's also going to be big for any of our supporters. I'm looking for our supporters, the audience members that have been in the comments section for the shows. I'm waiting for you guys to break out. I'm waiting for you guys to put your creations together because we want to feature you. We want to put you on our platform. We want you to join, want to be a creator, just like all those other guests that we've had. Heck, Joe and I want to be creators, so we're on that same boat too. So great 2020, great 2021. And 2022 is shaping up to be a great year as well. We have big plans. So I said my part. We got one more comment. Is that Roy?
I'm really thankful, Roy says, for your friendship, guys. I'm hugely grateful for yours, brother. And lots of love from fam here. As long as there's Comics Cast, we'll be there to support you. Rock on in 2022, drinking beer. I love it.
I love it too. Thank you very much, Roy. So that being said, Joe, you want to close this out, and then I'll get the bumper ready to go, and we can.
Hey, on. Good morning.
So on
love for you. Love Maverick throwing us a little love. Thank you, guys. Hey, go back, watch it again. We just basically laid out the entire thing that Comics Cast is going to do in 2022. We talked about 2021. We talked about the magazine. We talked about the app. We talked about the website. We talked about with creators that have now given us their love and respect and trust with their IPs that are going to be on the site. We talked about how 50 IP owners, we're going to have 50 publishers on our website, on our app before we launch. We'll have more than 100 comics. This thing is going to be launching in July. We talked about the magazine in February. We talked about Golden Fight. Go check out Golden Fight. And how we're going to be doing a coloring book for them in January that'll go out for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Absolutely love everything that we were able to kick ass with. Like we said, I'm not going to say what he said with the F-bomb with the little asterisk. But anyway, love it. You got your booster. On said she got her booster shot, so good for you.
Good. Yeah.
I'm rolling the dice with life. No, I'm just playing. You guys do it. Do what's right for you.
For you.
Health. You consult your doctor and get all the facts. That's all I'm going to say about that. Much love. Stay safe. Get to cons. Be safe. Make connections. A lot to do in 2022. And I just want to make sure that the platform's ready to go for you guys, and then the sky's the limit for everybody.
All right. You couldn't say it any better. I just want to say I love you guys. I love Comics Cast, and I can't wait to see what we can bring to you in 2022. So peace out. See you next year.
All right.